Oh.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 2.
The red light's on.
Episode 2 of 1 Hour with Lou.
Wow.
I mean, since we don't have a name yet, I figured I'd just throw
rhyme with
something
2.
out there.
Because not every episode is going to be 2. So
No, episode 3, 1 hour with Johnny.
Lou Savarese.
Lou Savarese.
In this corner.
Yeah.
In this corner.
In this corner, that's
I like
a good
that.
one.
Probably been done already.
Yeah.
Mama says, Lou says
You have to,
not yet.
but you can always do like in this corner with Lou Savarese.
Okay.
You know, so that could be when you're coming up with a name.
Yeah.
Because I looked up, I've already done my research on stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Lou, what's up, man? How was Christmas?
It was great. It was great. I got to see the kids, and we went to Moody Gardens. My daughter and my son, we went down there, and we stayed overnight, and it was great for us, not great for Moody Gardens because there was nobody there. It was really wild.
The weather was...
It was perfect. The weather was beautiful. It was really, really, really nice.
how long were you in Galveston?
We were there for 2 days.
Nice.
It was fun.
I saw you had some pictures for those of y'all that don't follow Lou Savarese Gym. You post some pictures. You were in the pool. You guys swimming and like having a blast down there, man. That looks great.
Yeah, my daughter's going to be 10 soon, and we get along really well.
Awesome.
She gets like past 11, I probably can't relate to her, but.
And we were just talking. We were just talking a second ago. We're sitting over here at Fight Fit, which is Savarese Fight Fit, which is here in Houston, Texas. Which Lou Savarese obviously is our guest today and every Wednesday now. But man, this girl that was in here a second ago, I could hear her hitting that bag, man. I mean, dude, I was
she's amazing.
How old is that girl?
Mary Lou is 10 years old. She's amazing. I mean, she does everything right. She's just real competitive. I mean, anything we put her in, she's amazing. I mean, if it's an obstacle course, she's got to win. She's
got that competitive spirit.
Yeah, she's a great athlete, but her boxing is almost perfect. I mean, it's
I was sitting down waiting for your classes to get finished. They were doing whatever they're doing. We'll talk about that in a second. But man, she was just going pop, pop, pop. Yeah, and then like the guy was holding up the bags in his hands, and man, she was hammering it away.
She's a phenom. I mean, it's amazing.
And you know what's crazy? Because I've got kids of my own. Yeah. That competitiveness.
Yeah.
Is kind of natural. Like you can't really. I've got one that she's not really competitive. She's just kind of like, hey, yeah, whatever. And the other one, I can be like, are you gonna let her? She's faster than you. She's like, no, she's not. And then she's gonna, So
well, it's innate. I totally agree with you. It
is
with her. That's what's so impressive. I mean, I'll see her like in any competition. She's just got to win or try to win.
Today I was throwing the football with my daughter's athletic. I mean, she is athletic, man, and she's catching it, throwing it. I throw the football. My son, he turns around like, it's a Nerf football. Yeah, it's like it's funny, and I'm like, he's not that much younger. He's only 6 and she's 8, so it's like it's hysterical. But yeah, you're right. It is innate, and like that competitiveness that she has. She has that spark in her that just wants to win. Like almost that's what reminded me of that girl that was in there hitting a second ago. It reminded me of my daughter and how competitive she is.
But to relate it to boxing, I mean that's a big part of boxing. Guys, you'll see them and say, wow, they can do everything. They're physically just Adonises. But then the thing is, how bad do you want it to get hit and go down, and you have to get back up? It's a whole different level.
Yeah, that's the greatest one-on-one sport ever. Obviously, getting up from getting knocked down has to be. I mean, what goes through your head? Just what goes through your head when you've got hit and you're down and you're like, should I get back up?
Nah, that's funny you said that because you don't. It's almost we use the word innate. I mean, you jump up and you try and get up as quick as possible. I remember the first time I got dropped in a pro fight. It was on ESPN. It was up in Catskills. And I remember it seemed like I was down for a while, but I looked up and I was like, dude, I'm looking at the ceiling. Oh, this isn't good. And I jumped up real quick. But it seemed like it was a longer time, but I jumped right back up and I wound up winning the fight. So.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
I like to talk about those moments just because for someone like myself, of course, and like Jeff, we'll have never been involved like that. And so I think about a situation
I got knocked out by my brother.
Well, I'm okay.
I've been on the ground and woke up in grass before.
Your brother's not Evander Holyfield.
No. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
So like in that, I'll go back because we talked about last show, that fourth round with Evander.
Yeah.
When you take that and you go down, I mean, like, what's your, like, how is that? I mean, I know it sucks, obviously, but I mean, like, what's your mental process? What's your thought? I mean, like, what are you doing?
That's a great question because there is to me, there's two factors. One is the mental, one is the physical. So one of the physical things is you have to be in really good shape too, because even if you do get up, you have to. But that shows the guys that are in really, really top condition when they get up and fight again. But also mentally, it's just it's just something. Some guys have it, some guys don't. Most of the fighters to get to that level, they usually have it. And I just my dad just say no brains, no pains. I would just get back up and try and keep fighting, but.
Man, I mean,
that's crazy.
Like I said, yeah, of course it's not a Vander Holyfield, but yeah. And it was over a jet ski, right? We were fighting over a jet ski. We were in Louisiana. He wanted to ride it, and I was riding.
Did he drop you?
Oh, dude, because I never thought I was gonna. I never thought I was gonna hit my brother in the face, right?
Yeah.
So we're squaring up, and I just punched him as hard as I could in the chest.
Yeah.
Well, next thing I know, I just wake up in the grass. I was like, "What the hell happened?" Because I didn't think he was gonna hit me back in the face either. I thought if we're gonna tussle, you're not gonna punch me and knock me out. Well, I was off. I was way wrong. There's a guy on his balcony laughing at us because he owned a pawn shop in Louisiana, real Creole dude, right? So he's just y'all get up.
Well, that's the thing you learn, man. When I watch these these fight videos that they have on Twitter or anything like that, is you see that you're like, man, if you're gonna get in a situation like that, you better be the first one to throw.
Well, I was.
I mean, the majority of the time. But I'm saying you threw at chest, though.
I threw his chest.
You got to. I mean, you got to be the first one. You can't. It's very rare that you're going to be able to react.
Usually with your brother, you want to stay below the.
Well, he didn't want to.
Yeah, no, man. My brother, he was a fighter. He throws haymakers all the time. He's a fighter. He's one of those guys. When you're in the bar, you bump into him the wrong way.
Oh, that guy.
He's just turn around and just fucking hit you for no reason. It's obnoxious. It's hard to go out with him. But I digress. Speaking of fighting, we're sitting over here at Savarese Fight Fit. Lou, tell us a little bit about your gym here in Houston.
Well, I have the gym over here on 4215 Bel Air Boulevard. If you see it, it's just a really, kind of state-of-the-art gym. At each station, we have weights. A lot of, mostly we do high-intensity training here, and we do a lot of boxing. We have actual 2 days are dedicated to sparring, so we have guys spar here too. So you got to come by and check it out. It's one of the
all
by far
ages
the nicest
too.
gym.
All ages.
Yeah. We have kids. My daughter just left. She's 9 years old. We have Mary Lou. We were talking about before. She's 10 years old, and it's really cool. The kids, it helps a lot with confidence. And the other thing we've been finding out, too, it helps a lot with kids with ADHD and ADD.
I'm bringing my son.
Yeah,
he's driving me nuts.
Oh, I told you, I was ADHD way before it was trendy. My mom was she's like, sweetie, when you were a kid, if there was labels, you've been A through Z. I was like, nice, she's building up my confidence.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you're being modest, though. It's not kind of state of the art.
Yeah.
This stuff is state of the art.
Man.
Just the gym and just all the equipment, your staff, everybody. It's awesome.
And as far as gym's concerned, man, they've got spray bottles around here as far as if you're concerned about 19, they've got spray bottles everywhere, wipe down everything. It's an incredible
That's
gym.
a huge part of owning a gym right now. You have to be really overt about your cleanliness and everything. We always have been kind of a step above. We have a kind of an affluent crowd that comes here too, so it smells a lot different than my downtown gym.
I bet.
Yeah, it smells a little bit different.
So is that what we do now? Have we abbreviated COVID-19 all the way down to 19? Because Joe was like, you know about 19.
I say it because I don't like to say the whole thing. Huh? No, I just don't. I don't like the negativity, right? So I hate saying the whole thing. It just I just say 19. Puts a little lighter.
Vid, me and my boy Vid. Vid. That's it. That's where I went. Vid.
All right, fine. I get it.
COVID.
Co.
Yeah.
Got my boy Co over there.
Got COVID-19.
I'll call it
I'll
stick with 19. You stick with Vid.
Sound like a cologne. COVID-19.
Speaking of that, they came out yesterday. We're here in Houston, Texas at Savarese Fight Fit. They said yesterday, well, actually today, if you saw your phones, it was cancel all your New Year's Eve. We're 2 days away from, this is Wednesday, tomorrow night's New Year's Eve. Wow. We'll get a New Year's Eve plan later because I'm interested to see what Lou's doing for New Year's Eve. But
what does Lou Savarese do New Year's Eve?
It's off the chain.
Off the chain.
You're hiring
10, man, you kidding me?
It's gonna be wild, huh? Listen, a couple weeks ago, because we didn't have a show last week because of Christmas holidays, but we
Lou and I were ready to have a show. You weren't here,
I know. I was in Florida.
We were ready.
My bad.
It's all good, man.
I was.
What part of Florida did you go to?
We went to West Palm. I drove the kids down there. Yeah, my
Lamotta Street.
Yeah, my parents are down there.
There's a few New Yorkers in West Palm.
Speaking of, real quick, because he said he was in Galveston, we talked about that earlier, and you said you went. I saw the picture. You went and saw the statue, and we talked about that on the show. Of what's it?
Jack Johnson.
Yeah, Jack Johnson, the statue in Galveston. That was pretty cool, and we had just talked about that.
Cool.
So
it was really neat, and he grew up in that area. It was really a lot of history in Galveston. I mean, it's really.
Yeah, it's a strange town. It's hopefully it gets a little better because Tillman bought it, and hopefully it ramps up a little bit. The boardwalk helped out a ton, but now it's just expensive. But we'll get into that. What we talked about before. Let's get into some boxing. Canelo fought Callum Smith. Obviously won. I think you said that pretty much exactly what would happen. What were your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, I was. I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I thought the kid could do a little bit better. But Canelo's that good. He's just getting better every fight. I mean, it's really something. I mean, the same thing that made the kid so good, Callum Smith, was this thing that probably made him lose too. He's a big guy that can fight well inside, but being a big guy, you want to use your range, and he didn't. He stayed close with Canelo. And Canelo,
those body shots.
His credit, he just backed him up from the get-go. I mean, he just fought a really, really great fight.
Those shots, I mean, we talked about it on the previous show. Man, when he hits you in the body, those are just fierce. I mean, those things hurt.
Yeah, he can punch. I mean, he's a great body puncher.
Is that what wears you out as a boxer? When guys go to your body a lot, because it's like a strategy, right? You come in with a strategy to fight, and you hit the body. I mean, how long does it take for your body, your ribs, kidneys, to wear down?
Well, that's the thing. If you get hit with a good body shot, it stays with you for a couple of rounds. A good head shot, I mean, you go down, sometimes you can shake it off. But the body shots, well, that's why you see guys throwing them more in the earlier rounds. You don't see guys throwing that many in the later rounds because you want to be able to do it and wear the guy down. It's a great.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and there's different guys. It's there's like kind of an art to taking a body shot. Some guys you could just take them, and other guys they can't. This guy Callum Smith, he dropped like 4 guys with liver shots. I mean, it was amazing. So that's a cool punch to see. A guy who was good at it too.
Roy Jones was good at that.
Yeah. You see guys get hit, and then it seems like 30 seconds went by, and then they go down. It's like delayed reaction.
And how much in a fight like that does experience take into account? Because you got Callum Smith who came into this with 27 wins, and then, of course, Canelo, I mean, 53 wins. I mean, that dude's fought a lot.
Yeah, Canelo's been fighting since 15 years old, man. I mean, he's just and he's getting better and better. That's the thing that amazes me. Just, I seen him early on in his career. I was at one of his fights when he fought one of our fighters, Austin Trout. And that was a really close fight. He dropped Trout, and that probably made him win the fight. But he's just gotten better every fight. I mean, it's just been, and in retrospect, it doesn't seem like it was a bad move. But I thought at the time it was a bad move for him to fight Mayweather because Mayweather had so much experience. But it's not really hurting him now.
Why fight Mayweather? Why do that fight for him?
Back then, I thought it was a mistake, but I don't know now. I mean, look, he's huge right now. How much bigger could he be?
Was that what it was for publicity, you think, just to get his name out there?
It was his biggest money fight by far, right there. So, do you turn that money down? A bird in the hand sometimes. But, once again, in retrospect, it didn't hurt him. I mean, he's still a huge name,
Why do you think, what in your opinion, why do you think he shouldn't have fought him?
He wasn't seasoned enough yet. I mean, still a young guy going against a guy like that, and the style. Mayweather was just such a great boxer. And at the time, Canelo wasn't, but he's gotten, I mean, every fight he just gets better and better. I mean, he not only he's gotten to be a better boxer, just in every aspect he's getting better.
And he's not fighting, I mean, in his history, I'm sitting here looking at his history. I mean, he's not fighting guys that are just run-of-the-mill dudes. I mean, he's fighting guys that come into it with some really good stats, really good records.
Even on the beginning, like I just said with Austin Trout, to me, that was a crazy fight to take, and Trout wasn't a huge name then, and then he fought Sergio Mora too, I believe he fought him too, and I thought that was going to be a mistake. It was a lefty, tough guy, and he beat him too. So he's fought everybody out there.
Like you said, he went Mosley, Lopez, Trout, your guy, then of course he went Mayweather. So yeah, I mean the dude's fighting some guys, and he went into that. You think about it, he went into that, hadn't fought in over a year. Whenever in this most recent one with Callum Smith.
So Callum Smith wasn't. I mean, he's a real guy, and and look, he proved that he went the distance. That's not an easy thing to do with Canelo.
Is it? I was looking on Callum Smith. He's had well, I say only 27 wins, and he's 30. Is that a little bit weird to be Because I mean, you got on the flip side, you got Canelo, who's the same age.
He had a good amateur pedigree, and his families, they were all fighters. Canelo had beat his brother, so he had stopped his brother in the fight. But it's just Canelo's that good. I mean, he's really that good.
He is good.
Yeah.
I mean, Canelo, he might. I don't know, pound for pound. We'll get into that in a little bit. Who's the best fighter of the year, stuff like that. I think Grant's got some stuff to ask you later on about that. There's some upcoming fights. Do you know what is this? The Battle for Port Richey or the Gene Lewis Boxing Club, the annual Gene Lewis?
I saw something about it. I don't know because I saw they were trying to help him out, or was that right?
Yeah, they're trying to put something together. They don't have a date set for it yet, or the fighters, but that's obviously it's on Broadway. I'm assuming that's in New York. No, that's in Mesa, Arizona. Battle of Port Richey coming up. Who's your up and coming fighter that you want to see? We were talking about Canelo.
Ryan Garcia. I mean, he's great for boxing. The kid can, he's just amazing. I mean, he's a phenom in the way of punching. He's so quick. He hits hard, and he seems, we'll see. He's fighting a tough guy his next fight, and I think
Saturday.
Yeah. It's
Lou Campbell.
Yeah, and it's Campbell's a tough guy. He beat one of our fighters. He beat Regis Prograis, and Campbell can really fight. He's going to be a big barometer to see what he does against this fight.
That's Saturday?
A lot of people are looking forward to that and to see how he's going to do.
I'm going to pay attention. I mean, especially now doing this show. I have a lot of other sports with the other show, but now, doing this, got to keep up with boxing. There's so much going on with boxing.
Garcia right now, I mean, he's great for boxing. I would love to see him win just because of the love of the sport. He's one of these guys, you'll hear women talk about him, other people talk about him. He's really, not your boxing fanatics. Other people are talking about this guy, and that's great for boxing.
Well, and again, like to what Jeff was saying most recently, and I get that when it comes to the Tyson fight that happened and then
Roy
this
Jones,
Paul, all that. I get the publicity. I think it's great for boxing. I think it's fantastic, and more people are paying attention to it. As long as those kinds of fights stop and they kind of help promote these fights like this.
Yeah.
I mean, and to your point, Ryan Garcia, I'm looking at his Instagram, 7.8 million Instagram followers.
Oh,
man.
I mean, that dude, he's 22 years old. That's his demographic, man.
How many you got, Lou? Let's look up Lou.
I got no idea.
Let's check out Lou's Instagram.
Come on.
We need to. No, we can promote it. We'll put it on here.
Oh yeah.
We'll put it on here. We'll give out your handle for your Instagram. We get a bunch of followers. I mean,
Breaker19.
I can't even tell you what mine is. I swear to God, I can't. I have no clue what mine is. It's like Jeff
I got no idea.
underscore Houston or Jeff underscore Michael HTX or something like that.
Can you see how many Savareses?
You got one. Well, is this? So I'm assuming this would be yours, right? Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Well, there's
1,703 followers. Hey, man, you got more than me.
1,700 and how many?
703.
Dude, I wonder if
Dude's got 752 posts, man.
I wonder if I have you beat. I wonder if I have Lou beat. Let me check it out.
I'm following Lou right now.
Thanks, buddy.
Damn, I don't. Oh, no, I've got 1,621. Shit. You got me beat by 100.
Yeah, we'll see tonight. He's going to be calling people up.
I got it, dude. By Wednesday, I'm going to have more. What's his handle? What is it?
I think it's just your name, right? Lou Savarese.
No. Yeah, it could be. But there's people that have different ones.
Yeah, it's just his handle's real boring. Just his name, Lou Savarese.
I'm gonna get the handle. Can we get maybe? We got Vid. We got Co. I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, help me out here.
COVID-19.
No, what should be my handle?
Oh, Road Procaster. No, nobody's calling in. Speaking of, we need to have a couple call-ins.
Yeah, that would be good. Have some people call in.
Lou Savarese.
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
There you go. I like that. There you go.
Yeah.
He's back. The devil's back.
The devil made me do it.
Lou Savarese.
Dude, I'm sitting here looking at your Instagram. You got a picture with David Blaine, man. What the hell?
I did. Yeah. David and I used to kick it a little bit. Yeah, we did.
Did he do any magic trick for you?
He did. Oh my God, he would do it. It was crazy. I'll tell you what he did. My uncle, God bless his soul, he's dead now, but he owned a restaurant that David used to go all the time, and it was called Famous Ray's in Lower Manhattan. And he was in Manhattan Ioneer. He had diabetes real bad, and they were working on his foot. But anyway, David came to the hospital to see him, and we were all in there, and he literally levitated in the hospital. It was crazy. And this one nurse, she freaked out, man. She freaked out. He would do stuff. It was just crazy. We'd be in the neighborhood, and he would just come up and throw stuff at somebody's window, and the stuff would be inside the window. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, just like I have no idea how he did it.
If you wanted to, could you contact David Blaine right now?
Yeah, I probably could.
See, look at that.
Hold on,
awesome,
hold on. Let me tell you why. That's my cousin in the picture, and they're real close. She was a producer.
Okay.
Teresa. She was a producer for Ricky Lake and.
I remember Ricky Lake.
Yeah, she was their producer and Queen Latifah too. I was on both shows. I was on Ricky Lake and Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah was cool. They had I was on the show because these guys were calling their wives fat and stuff and calling all stuff. So I was the boot camp leader, and I came on the show and I was put them through a workout. It was pretty fun.
That sounds like the Richard Simmons the doll you got your friend.
Chia Pet.
Chia Pet.
It's gotten big now, dude. I just saw it. Everybody's got them now.
Did you get everybody their Chia Pets for Christmas?
I did. I gave out Chia Pets.
I saw it at the Walgreens, and I sent a picture.
I gave out Chia Pets, and then I gave out Pez dispensers too.
That's man. Well, my kids would love the Pez dispensers.
Yeah, these guys. What are you gonna do? Somebody's got everything. What are you gonna
quick. I saw this today. Getting back to a little bit more boxing. Adrian Broner is fighting February 2nd after a 2-year layoff.
Yeah. How
much do you know about Broner and his style? And 2-year layoff. How hard is
he's not my favorite guy in the way of his personality. He can fight. He's definitely a fighter. It seems like every time he steps up to the huge level, he doesn't seem to win those fights. He's a bit cocky. Just a little different than, but he can fight. Who's he fighting?
I actually don't know. It just said it was a headline saying that he was fighting February 2nd. I'm sure Grant will pull that up in a second. But Broner's a name that's out there. Is he a setup fighter?
Setup fighter. Well, now he is. So what happens is when you lose, you lose a fight, you have to get another fight to, either if you're a big name, you can get a setup fighter, or you become a setup fighter. Be an opponent. We call it an opponent. So right now, coming back, he's probably after a 2-year layoff. It wouldn't be expected that he's going to fight somebody tough. He'll fight somebody, that he can get a win. We call it getting a win, and it's not fixed, but
it's pretty
win the
easy.
fight. Yeah. That would be bad to put him in a really tough after a 2-year layoff.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're going to fight somebody fairly easy for him to win. That's probably why it's not pulled up. That he'll be the main attraction, obviously.
Yeah, they don't have anything in relation to what it just says that he's back in the ring training and as he prepares to return.
So he'll just fight. If his manager cares about him, and it would be no, seriously. Some guys. They just fought everybody, but if you got a guy, and it costs money too to get an opponent. Sometimes you have to pay the guy. You pay. There's a lot of things people don't know about boxing, but if you're building a guy when you're starting, it's very important to have a money guy behind you, because you're not paying the guys to lose, but you're paying both sides of the fights.
Yeah,
that's what happens. Like my first 10 fights, we paid both sides of the fights. So you're getting the opponent that you want. You have to pay for that to get on a card.
What are you paying for?
You're paying his purse. So in other words, let's say, like for a small promoter here in like Texas or anywhere, there's only one way it works, and that is by guys, we call it buying their way on the card. So if you wanted to fight on the card, you would have to pay for your purse and your opponent's purse. So this way you get the right guy, you get the right fight. But otherwise, it's so hard. I think I talked about it on the last show. Holyfield was one of the few guys. He just fought everybody. It was crazy. They didn't care about him so much. They were really caring about guys like Tyrell Biggs, Meldrick Taylor, and Holyfield. They just put him in every fight, and he just kept winning. He did it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Speaking of Holyfield and heavyweights, I brought this to your attention right before the show started. They came up with a new division called the Bridgerweight division. Oscar Rivas is the number one contender. I'd let you read over briefly. Why would they do this?
That annoys me. It really annoys me. I'm sorry, but anyway. It makes no sense. Being a historian of boxing, as soon as you said it, the first thing that came to my head was Jess Willard, and we looked it up. He's 6'6", and Willard was probably 240, 250. So, and he was in the 1900s. Early 1900s. So these guys, I don't know. That's one of the things that appeals to me. A guy like Marciano was at his heaviest, maybe 186, fighting big guys, and same thing with Joe Louis, was fighting big guys. Tyson's not a huge guy. What is Tyson?
He was 220, 205.
Yeah, and he's knocking out guys like Bone Crusher Smith, Carl the Truth Williams. So these guys are morons.
It says only the WBC are involved in this, and that the WBA, IBF, and the WBO are staying out of it.
I would too. So.
I mean, one day we're going to sit down and go over all this because there's a lot of people out there that are confused because there's so many titles, so many belts, all this. Yeah. Obviously, you know what it means to hold all the belts you're the undisputed heavyweight or whatever.
It's so hard now because it's not. There's just so many belts, so it's very. But there's always a people's champion. I think you guys would agree. There's one guy. Usually there's a guy is the champion.
Right now it'd be Tyson Fury probably.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next guy is going to be Joshua.
Yeah.
I mean, that you would think the second in command there.
Well, let's see. Man, other than that, I think we're going to get to some history with Grant, and then we're going to probably lead into a bunch of wild Lou stories.
Well, what history?
All kinds of history. Well, no, I was going to
boxing history. Or
yeah.
Oh,
boxing
I got nervous, dude. I'm terrible at history.
Boxing history. Well, first question is, do we want to go into 2020 and the boxers of 2020? Is that something we want to wait till at the end?
I mean, we can we can talk about who he thinks. I mean, you kept up with 2020. Obviously, you're a boxing connoisseur. So let's get into it.
So let me ask you this. So I looked at a couple different areas just to get an idea of what was out there, and we'll kind of go through top 5. Like complex.com is one website I went to.
Really, I never heard of that.
Their top 5, and this is pound for pound. This is not in any weight class. This is just pound for pound. Their top 5 fighters of 2020. Number 5 was Tyson Fury. Number 4, Earl Spence Jr.
Interesting.
Number 3, which I had never heard of this person, but after doing some research, this seems like a pretty up-and-coming guy. Naoya Inoue, guy from Japan. Bantamweight.
That's interesting. There was a lot of great Japanese fighters, but there hasn't been any yet. That's cool.
27 years old. His nickname is the Monster. He's an ultra-talented 118-pounder who won the World Boxing Super Series last November when he earned a unanimous decision over future Hall of Famer Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, he's a bad.
So that's a guy. Number 2, Terrence Crawford, and then, of course, number 1 was Canelo Alvarez.
That's Crawford is just a phenom to me. The guy is just amazing, I would put those two close. I think the thing with Canelo, he's fought, everybody out there. I think once Crawford gets better opponents and huge opponents, I think he's going to just keep impressing people.
And it was crazy when I was looking at to see what this was how it is across the board in relation to what people thought this last year the top boxers were. Like on some, I saw top 10s like that list I just mentioned. Some of them were saying Teofimo Lopez Jr. Is one of the guys that they say was the best fighter of the year, and I don't even see him on some top 10s. Yeah. What do you know about Teofimo Lopez?
He can fight you. So he fought on the card, the other card.
Defeated Lomachenko.
He can fight that kid. I mean, I thought Lomachenko was, somebody that was going to be beaten. He beat him. So the kid, he's a phenom too. I mean, we'll see what happens.
There's a bunch of good fights that are set up.
Yeah.
that should happen in 2021, but with the 19, it's going to be hard for boxing. So much of the crowd, the audience, you want to see that people standing up when somebody gets hit. It's one of those sports that just like any of them, I guess it's hard to imagine all these huge boxing matches. I think that's why if you look on some of the websites, it says TBD, like to be determined, on some of when these fights are going to happen because they want a crowd. I mean, that generates obviously more money. But how would you box without a crowd?
I mean, you don't have a choice. I mean, you're looking at it from the fan standpoint, but I'm looking at it from a fighter standpoint. Some of these guys, I mean, it's so sad. There's no fights out there for them, and Texas is just starting to have crowds. They had the one up there, but it's promoters aren't really going to get into it because you can't make the money. You're going to have to make all your money on the pay-per-view, which the Tyson Roy Jones. What was the number they came up with? It was something huge.
Tyson got $10 million. I think Roy's got $3 million.
But I mean the buys though.
They had a huge. The pay-per-view sales on that were big. They definitely killed it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to do as much as I don't think the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul fight is even going to generate close to that. I mean, I honestly don't want to watch that.
I don't care. I really don't care.
I don't know how, unless Floyd takes it serious and comes out there and beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I really don't want to watch it because otherwise it's just going to be some sort of spectacle and he's just going to bounce around the ring. I mean, the guy, there's no possible way that he has a chance to even hit Floyd Mayweather. Well,
yeah, I don't think he even hits him, and he's huge. He's a big dude.
Yeah,
too.
he is a big guy.
That's relatively speaking, compared to
Mayweather, exactly.
So,
1.6 million pay-per-view buys for Tyson Jones.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, and like you said, for what we got going on in a fight like that, I mean, that's pretty solid.
I mean, $50 a pop, so you're looking at $75 million.
Correct, yeah.
You know, you guys are quick.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Let me ask you this. What is your thought about Alexander Usyk? I know he's one of the guys that they had some have him rated above Tyson Fury in some of the ratings I saw.
Yeah, I mean, once again, he's got to be proven. We'll see who he's gonna.
18-0.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. He's got to step up there and fight. He's a great amateur too. I mean, they have these. They have a different. When you get a guy that's had a lot of amateur experience, it's a different pedigree. I mean,
he hadn't fought a lot.
Tested, yeah. So it should be interesting. We'll see. He's a big guy.
He's not titled, so he's out there looking for it. But yeah, it was weird just seeing the gamut of people. And I had one that said Lomachenko was the top-rated fighter of the year. So it's, and of course there's a lot like it is in other sports. There's no
definitive way.
There's no stats that you can point to. Well, I mean, there's punching stats and all those different things. But as far as you just have it so across the board between the divisions, it's just hard to pinpoint that particular person. But that was kind of the thought. But yeah, I would look into that. The monster, this kid out of Japan. I watched a little bit of a highlights. He was pretty talented.
There was I can't remember the guy's name. It was a kid, and my manager, who's like, this guy knows every fighter. He named his dog after the guy from Japan. I can't think of the guy's name, but he named his Akita after the guy, and the guy was amazing. But
yeah,
I'll call you tonight around 3 a.m.
That's cool. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting.
I'll probably be working.
I'll be waiting.
Lou, I got a question for you. Like, what is the Lanil Heavyweight Championship?
That's just the guy that beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. So it's just so like when Foreman, I think Foreman had won it when he knocked out Michael Moore, because Michael Moore had beat the lineal champion. So it's the one who that would be your undisputed guy. I mean, that's what you would say.
Because it says you challenged for the lineal heavyweight champion, lost by controversial.
Oh, wait, Foreman.
With Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman. And Foreman.
Yeah, it was a controversial split decision for the lineal world heavyweight champion with George Foreman.
Yeah.
And then a year later on June.
I would have won if I knew that was.
And a year later on June 25th, 1998, Savarese won the IBA World Heavyweight against the former undisputed World Heavyweight champion James Buster Douglas, by way of a first-round knockout.
That was cool. That was really cool. And I think I told you guys. Did I tell you about the Dean Chance? Remember Dean Chance? Did I tell you the Dean Chance story? Well, Dean Chance was the, let's see if you guys know who Dean Chance was.
I have no clue.
Come on.
Well,
he's a pitcher, Cy Young winner for the Dodgers.
I should know that.
A long time ago. But anyway.
Yeah, now you're calling me out.
I know.
No.
Come on, Grant.
It was you specifically he was calling out.
Yeah, come on.
I think he looked at you.
I did look at him.
You guys.
But it was really cool. So I was in awe because my old attorney up in New York, he's like just the most, he remembers everything about every baseball game. He's in his 90s. It's bizarre. He's been to every induction of the Hall of Fame. He goes.
Oh, damn. That's awesome, dude.
Really
That's
cool
cool
cat. He's amazing. We got to get him on the phone one day, but he can remember stuff. Like just,
Let's do it.
But so anyway, I called him up. I said, hey, Dean Chance. And he said, listen, he said, he's just, he was a Cy Young winner. Gave me all the stats. And he said, but one thing about him, a lot of people don't know, he was the best swordsman. He actually scored. Swordsman is my dad used to say if you get a lot of women.
Oh, okay.
Great
all right. I was wondering if that's where you're going.
Yeah, he said he's one of the greatest swordsmen.
We're learning. Okay, so
one of the greatest sword, like Tom Jones was a great swordsman. But anyway, this guy he says he was better than Jeter. I was like, and I'm not seeing it because the guy
Jeter
70 years old. Yeah, he said this guy he had bagged, and so anyway, I was like, well, but I'm not seeing it because he's older, so good looking big guy, but he's probably in his 70s. So anyway. I was in awe when I got to meet him. He gave me the belt, so we went and we were talking. I said, Mr. Chance, was that the greatest moment of your life, winning the Cy Young? He said, nope. I said, what was he? He said, when I looked down, I can't remember the year of his Corvette, and I saw Angie Dickinson going up and down. He said, yes, that was, you remember Angie Dickinson?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oof, that was.
So he was a good. I got to remember that, the swordsman. I'm gonna write that down.
You never heard that? So my dad said.
No, because I've been called every name in the book, but not the swordsman.
Oh, you say Tom Jones? That guy, forget about it. He got more women than a toilet seat. Like, I used to get everything.
Angie Dickinson.
Oh my God, she was beautiful. Yeah. I remember when HBO
going up and down in the Corvette, probably like a '69 vet. Like,
I remember when HBO first came out, I snuck out to watch it, and she was in Carnal Knowledge. Oh my God, dude! No, it was Ann Margaret.
Ann Margaret's another good one. Yeah, Ann Margaret's another good one. But yeah, I was looking at it. Dean Chance, man, you're right. It was 64. He won Cy Young.
Say anything about him being a swordsman?
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. You know, normally they have their have their nicknames. They don't have that.
Wouldn't you say now? You'd probably have to say Jeter. I mean, in my era, but not now.
Oh, Jeter for.
Oh yeah,
Jeter.
most definitely.
Jeter, A-Rod too.
A-Rod. I mean, somebody posted something about J-Lo today.
Canseco was back in his day. Canseco did good.
Have you ever met Jose Canseco? You ever met that dude? No.
Hopefully you're not dating Dave Winfield's exes, right? Like.
Wow, why Dave Winfield? What did I miss out on?
Herpes.
From the last.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So that was from. Oh my God, that was Tyson's. No, that's true though. That was Tyson's.
He got sued. Yeah.
Ruth Roper. That was. Robin Givens' mom sued him for
herpes. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
Lou stories. We should just call it, Lou story.
That's
hour.
fantastic.
It's not putting you to sleep. Like,
you didn't believe me. You
bedtime
did not
stories. Bedtime stories with Lou.
just know this, Lou. Anytime,
swordsman's, herpes, whatever it is.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, so you want to do some history, some boxing history?
Yeah, let's go.
So, like I said, what I want to do, because we only do it once a week, is
I do much better with history than I feel like I don't know enough about these new guys. I got to start getting into.
It's all good.
YouTubers and all this stuff. Wow.
That's the problem now. Is you got to be on that. You got to be on that now to.
I mean, honestly, like let's be real. Like, hopefully, I said it a minute ago. Hopefully, Floyd takes it serious and goes and knocks him out. We don't have to deal with this anymore because there's all kinds of other stuff that he's already done and his antics trying to call out Conor McGregor. Like, why are you trying to fight Floyd Mayweather and then Conor McGregor? It's two different sports, really. Yeah. And that's what. So it's just money generated.
Well, and that's just I think what. I don't want to speak for him, but I think that's one of the things that would piss Lou off about it all is because it's become just like a spectacle. It's not about the boxing. It's just about how do you go from Floyd Mayweather to wanting to fight Conor McGregor? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Put him in the ring with Lou. Lou, kill him.
Oh, dude, I beat him like a redheaded stepchild.
I guarantee you he would.
I beat him so bad, you think he robbed the bank.
What's his name? Which one is this, Paul? Logan Paul? Logan Paul, come fight Lou Savarese.
Yeah.
I want to be there for that.
With the left cross, hit him with the right cross. He'd be begging for the red cross. I got $1 million.
You do? Okay. Is that boxing? Is that talking shit in boxing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hit him so hard, his grandchildren would say, ouch.
Ouch. I like that.
I hit him so hard when he wakes up, his clothes be out of style.
You don't want to say eat your children, right? Like,
that was my fight.
That was right after.
Oh, that was yours.
It was right after his fight when he was all jacked up, and he's like, I eat your grandchildren. It's like, wait, what?
No, he was talking about. I think he was talking about Lennox Lewis's kids.
Yeah, he was. He was talking about Lewis's kids. He's like, I'll eat your grandchildren for breakfast. So it's like, whoa,
this dude's off the rocker.
That's a little much. But then, if you listen to the stories that Lou told us, like what happened prior to that fight, it all makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
He was snorting coke 2 hours before the fight.
If you watch the fight and watch his antics when he swung over the ref, knocked the ref down, and then just wouldn't stop, and then
he didn't even realize he did it.
That's what I'm saying.
He just kept going.
And then if you watch the interview afterwards, you're like, oh yeah, dude, he is jacked up.
Yeah,
jacked up Mike, but that'd be a bad guy to fight. Like, oh, golly.
Well, now he gets high all the time. He's
got a different.
I want my opponent smoking weed, dude. I mean.
Yeah, you want him more relaxed. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing to fight Tyson. It's another thing after he's done an 8-ball of blow. Like, dude,
I wouldn't fight you after doing that.
That's gonna be rough, man.
Well,
that's crazy.
You, but anyway. What did he hit you with? Overhand right?
I don't know. Like, I just woke up.
It's always an overhand right.
It was a right.
Fights, I told you the haymaker. Never see a guy to a left hand.
It was a haymaker, 100%. Like, I just wasn't. I didn't expect that coming, and then boom. Like, I just woke up. I was like, and it wasn't long. It was right afterwards. But I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I just get up.
And
I
said, "Ma, is it time for school yet?"
And the guy on the balcony, this fucking pawn shop guy, he's like, "Hey, get your guy, get up here. I don't hit your brother," like, because my dad was gone and we were using his jet skis. Like you can imagine, this pawn shop owner from Louisiana living on the bay. Like, it was.
I bet that's the third one he saw that day. To be honest with you, probably the third or fourth knockout he saw. Hey, I just saw another guy do that.
I don't have a frame of reference. I don't know any pawn shop owners.
I've been hit. I think I've been hit a few times. I've been hit a few times, but that was the only time I've been cold knocked out.
How old were you?
I had to been in my 20s, early 20s, 23, 24.
You were a man. You got dropped by your brother. That sucks. That's really messed up.
At least I know what not to bring up anymore.
That's messed up.
He's a fighter. Like I'm not a fighter.
But I thought you guys were kids and stuff. I mean, how old was he?
He's 2 years older than me, 18 months older than me.
That's really messed up.
Yeah, but he also, worked out a bunch. He took roids, he was a much bigger guy, and he fought our whole lives. Like he fought.
Dude, he was on the juice?
Yeah.
So maybe we need a rematch, man.
We got a boxing ring.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be some old school anger get leashed out. That'd be awesome.
We'd have to have a therapist there.
Yeah, that would be a dinger. Like, oh man,
he'd have to be in the corners. Like, so what does this say to you, Jeff? What do you feel whenever you hit your brother? What's coming out of you in that?
Probably be like Lou over there.
He had a roid rage.
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Go over there, and hit him in his nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was not fair. I didn't know he was on the juice.
I might have to do like an 8-ball of Coke, and then I get in there and fight him.
That would make it even more fun.
Probably entertaining wise,
absolutely.
We'll videotape it.
There was actually a Saturday Night Live skit. I remember Jim Carrey. It was you were allowed. It was like the all drug Olympics, and they had him.
I remember seeing something like that. Yeah.
That was a good
I remember seeing. Yeah, see what you could do is you could do an 8-ball. He could smoke weed. I mean, it would be the greatest fight ever.
No, the guy smoking weed's gonna lose. Are you kidding me?
Well, there you go.
He
needs all the advantage he can get. It sounds like.
You seen that movie Fighter, the UFC movie? Or Warrior, I'm sorry,
no.
Warrior.
No, I haven't
it's an
seen
amazing movie. 2 brothers make it to the finals in UFC match, but that would kind of be what it's like. Like he ends up beating him, what the older brother does, whatever, and he's like, oh, it's like crying at the end, like real emotional. This is probably exactly the way it would go. Like, but I think I could take him now. I don't know. We'll see. I hope my brother's not listening because he'll fly down here for that.
All right, so you ready? December 29th. So we're going to do the week. We're going to do the week, basically. And like I said, there really wasn't a lot of boxing history this week, but there was some. December 29th, 2007, American boxer Steve Cunningham defends his IBF Cruiserweight title for the first time with a 12th round TKO of Marco Huck in Germany.
Yeah, Huck, it was a German there. He was a tough kid. But Cunningham, what's his name? He was really tough. He was a good fighter, really good fighter.
Steve Cunningham?
Yeah, was he a Southpaw? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You would know better.
I'm just looking at the history.
Yeah. I can look it up.
Yeah, he was jacked. Good shape, too.
Who was the best Southpaw ever?
That's a tough one. I mean, you could say that's a tough one. I mean, Camacho was the best defensive Southpaw I think I've ever seen fight. Michael Nunn. Probably Michael Nunn.
Michael Munn?
Yeah, I'd say Michael Nunn.
Southpaw, for those of y'all that don't know, Southpaw is left-handed.
Yeah. Which in the old days, when you saw Rocky, remember when they switched him around? That was the truth. That's what they would do because you couldn't get fights back then to fight. So if you were a lefty, nobody would fight you. So
really,
but now there's so many Eastern Europeans, a lot more lefties. Yeah, that was why. If you remember the first Rocky, they switched him around. Mick switched him around, and that's why. And it's true. Guys wouldn't fight lefties.
That movie I think it generated so much publicity and did so well in all of them because I think it rang true in a lot of what they were trying to do. There was boxing-wise.
There was actually a guy that had ties to Houston. His name was Carl Savani. He was a Mr. Texas, big dude, really good shape. But his dad was actually the cornerman his dad was a cornerman in the real fight when Graziano fought Zales, I believe, and they were in the fight, the real fight. It was, I think it was the 12th or 13th round. They cut his eye. Graziano's eye was so swollen, so they cut it. And they used that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and his dad was the one who authenticated the scenes for Rocky.
They had to drain it?
Yeah. No, they just cut the eye. They cut it because it was so swollen he couldn't see. So they cut it and then put an end swell on it. But his dad was the guy that did the basically authenticate the scenes and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a good deal.
Little Rocky history. That's always good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so you guys know, Rocky wasn't real though.
Oh, really?
Just so you know, yeah.
So like every single punch they threw is not really a haymaker? That's not really?
No.
Okay.
Dude, if you go back and watch like the first few, like 1 through 3, even in 4, It's pretty like nowadays because filming is it's taken such a gigantic leap. Like it actually looks like they're hitting when you go back and watch them. They're not even
every
close.
Throw is a hay. I mean, every throw is a knockout throw, and they survive
like a foot off. Like
I
mean, it's not even close. But I mean, back then it was good for movies. I mean, they obviously did very well.
December 31st, 1952, Donnie Nordico stops former world middleweight champion Jake LaMotta in 7 rounds.
No, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, but LaMotta didn't go down.
Correct. Yeah. LaMotta. Well, it says. Well, hold on. It says 7 rounds in a light heavyweight non-title bout, in Coral Gables, Florida. LaMotta is knocked down for the only time in his career. His corner stopping fight after the round. That's what it says. Danny Nardico.
That's interesting. I know who Nardico was, but I can't because the thing with
1952.
That was his claim to fame, but that's late too. How old was it? It doesn't say how old.
No, it doesn't say how old.
1952.
Yeah, but that's late for LaMotta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he, I mean, that was his claim to fame. He never went down, and when he fought Robinson 5 times, and never went down. That's interesting.
Woo.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
fought him 5 times.
Yeah, they fought 5 times.
Wow, I thought I thought the max was like 3.
No, those guys. They were one of my favorite. One of my favorite tapes, VCR tapes, was it was called Great Rematches, and it was. VCR. I mean, that was cool. You don't see that as much now, but they had so many rivalries in boxing. It was really cool.
When you hear the name Jake LaMotta, what do you think? Like, what's the first thing you think of?
His chin. I mean, he had the best chin in boxing. I mean, and it was amazing. I mean, he was a really, really tough guy. I got to meet him a couple of times. It was really cool. And one of the funniest things I ever seen, he was on, I think it was Johnny Carson. He was on, and they had Tyson on, and he grabbed Tyson's cheek. He goes, "For a big guy, you talk really sweet."
That's awesome.
Yeah, LaMotta was. He grew up with my dad and my uncles. They all grew up in the same neighborhood in the Bronx.
Damn.
Yeah, I got to meet him a couple of times. He was a really funny guy.
So he got a knockout or got a knockdown.
And that was the only time
in his career. That's what it says. It says LaMotta's knocked down for the first time in his career. I never knew
that.
I think Floyd.
Well, and it says it's a non-title bout, so maybe it was not as much of a sanctioned fight, or not sanctioned, but
he LaMotta actually wound up living in Florida when he retired, and he became a comedian. He was trying to do comedy and stuff.
Like Tyson.
Yeah. The one thing about LaMotta though, he stayed in great shape. He'd hit the bag every day for 1 hour. I mean, up until his 90s, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing, he lived that long and didn't have dementia. I mean, nobody in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
That I think everybody would agree never got hit as much as him. I mean, he took so many punches. It was crazy.
How much do you work out daily? You hit the bag daily?
Well, I do mostly because I'm training people all day, so I'm doing a lot of abs, and that's pretty much my claim to fame is my abs and my hair. That's about it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Well, in one of your pictures you saw on Instagram, the scarf too. The scarf was kicking it. You had one.
I am the best dressed
Lou
straight man.
Lou Savarese Instagram. That's gonna be a race.
I'm self-proclaimed the best dressed straight man.
I think I'm 100. I'm gonna look.
I haven't really seen you dressed up though. I've seen you in workout gear. So when am I gonna see you dressed up?
Take
man?
me somewhere, buddy. I'm just gonna dress.
Well, where do you want to go?
I don't know. Take me somewhere nice.
Where do you want to go? We'll go somewhere. We'll figure it out.
Good, baby.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I'm gonna dress up for you guys.
We'll go somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
We'll go to Johnny's club that he's gonna be DJing.
Where are you DJing?
I'm either a Bible Blonde.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I think you said Bible Blonde. That's kind of
that'd be a great club name though. Bible Blonde. That would be good.
Bible Blonde.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, sacrilegious.
I don't know. That's
I don't know.
Sacrilege. I don't know.
Hey, who cares?
So what is it called? What blonde? Bottle blonde.
That would be a good one too.
Wait, it is bottle blonde.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
They're the same guys that they've got a few. There's a obviously on Washington here in Houston. It's a popular like 6th Street. It's like a mini 6th Street in Austin, and they've got a couple.
I got a funny blonde story.
So let's do it.
No, it's not as bad. You guys are terrible.
No,
your mind's in the
guy.
So anyway,
what the story's going to be.
A friend of mine, her dad was on the Knicks. His name was Richie Bennett. He didn't start. He was he was a good player. I mean, just to make the Knicks is amazing. His name was Richie Bennett. He wrote a book, and he was kind of a self-proclaimed ladies' man. Good-looking guy. He's still alive. I think he's almost 90 years old. But he wrote a book, and he talked about me and him with these 2 blondes that we went to a bar. It was called Blondies, and he talked about it. I'm like, dude, what are you crazy? And I was dating his daughter, and she was modeling in Europe, and me and him picked up, and he talked about it in the book. I was like, why would you do that? It wasn't true anyway.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah, of course not.
Of course not.
Don't ever.
Never did that.
Yeah, what is he talking about?
Fictional.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's not a biography. It's not a biography.
Yeah. See if you can
It's
find this
fictional.
book. I can't remember the name, but he was a self-proclaimed.
What was his name?
Richard Bennett.
Richard Bennett.
Yeah, he played for the Knicks.
And he wrote a book. And
he wrote a book.
Let's see. On Wednesday, we come back on Wednesday. We'll see if we have that.
I'll try to find it.
See if we have that story.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna look it up while we're sitting here doing it.
You have any more history?
I do, man. Let's see. So
we got 10 minutes.
What was the longest fight in the history of boxing? You wouldn't believe it's crazy.
The longest fight?
I think it was 160.
Isn't there like 2 days or 3 days?
I don't know
it's terrific you bring that up. It's
Okay.
it's awesome
Karma.
you bring this up. January 2nd.
Yes.
Let's see, where was it? 1865. 1865. Welterweight Con Oram and heavyweight Hugh O'Neill brawl for 185 rounds
Dude,
before darkness ends legendary bare-knuckle boxing match in Virginia City, Montana.
I mean, come on, man.
That's why I said it's weird you bring that up, because that was one of my things that I have here.
That's crazy that you said that.
And it's crazy, too. I mean, you talk about it basically to the last man standing. It's nuts.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, you think you have like the boxers have dementia like later on in their life. Now imagine if you win 185 rounds bare knuckle, like you're not living past 40.
No, that can't be good.
No.
That's going to leave a mark.
I think I got hurt off that one hit by my brother. I can't imagine 140 something.
Explains a lot.
Yeah, I never should have said that.
No, you shouldn't, but you said it, so now we're going to talk about it.
Damn it. Because now it's going to be brought up like every show.
Absolutely.
That's all right, Grant.
Either myself or Lou, we'll bring it up. January 2nd, 1957, in the first of 4 meetings between the fighters, Gene Fulmer wins the world middleweight boxing title with a 15-round unanimous decision over Sugar Ray Robinson at Madison Square Garden.
That was, and I believe that Robinson beat him. That was what fight was that?
First of 4 meetings.
Yeah, they fought 4 times. Man. That's what we were talking about before.
Yeah, how many times?
How many times they had rematches. And Fulmer was just a guy who was real ugly in the sense he was just a scrapper. I mean, he would just throw punches from all different angles and everything.
That's got to be hard to prepare for, a scrapper.
It is, yeah. He was just a guy. I mean, he was double tough, too. I believe Robinson was the first one to knock him down. He knocked him down and probably knocked him out. I think he did knock him out too. I don't know which fight it was, but it was I remember the shot now. It was an amazing right hand to the body, hook to the head. And I show a lot of guys that actual punch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, you remember a lot.
I know, man.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of boxing stuff.
I do want to bring up, I was going to bring up one. There's a Japanese boxer, Masao Oba. Is that name anything to you? No? So we won't worry about that guy. But we do. That's all right. But we do have birthdays this week. I wanted to say, we were talking about earlier, I was going to bring it up as far as women boxers. Layla Ali, her birthday is December 30th. January 1st, you know who's born January 1st, 1919?
1919. January.
Rocky Graziano.
Get out of here. Okay, I got a great thing about Graziano. No,
Brooklyn, New York.
That wasn't his real name.
Okay, what's his real name?
Ooh. I don't know. Okay, so Graziano.
That's a great story.
Hold on. No. Yeah. Cool story with Graziano, though. So the rumor, my dad, he's in New York, and my dad knew every fighter in New York and all that. So he was telling me because Graziano and Lamotta never fought. And the reason why is they think that the story was that they were in jail together, and Graziano gave him a beating in jail, and Lamotta never wanted to fight him. Yeah.
Damn.
That's a crazy story.
So I think his name was Bob. What was
I got it for you.
Wait, hold on. Sugar Ray Robinson, that wasn't his real name either. The greatest fighter in boxing. That wasn't his real name, Sugar Ray Robinson. What was, hold on, let me think.
We'll give it a second.
Who was it? What was his name?
I'll give you his initials, TRB. Thomas Rocco Barbella.
That was it.
Barbella.
I swear I was going to say Rocco Barbella. I knew that was his name. And then Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest fighter in the history of boxing, that was not his real name.
That's your greatest fighter?
I think every boxer.
Every boxer would name him?
Yeah, I think so. And his real name was, I think, Walker T. Smith or something.
I'm going to look that up here in just a second.
Yeah, see if I'm
a couple of the birthdays I'll tell you this week. Pernell Whitaker, January 2nd. Glenn Johnson,
Sweet Pete.
January 2nd. Whitaker had one of the worst decisions in the history of boxing. He beat, was it they gave. I can't remember who he beat, but he beat him handily, and they gave it to the other guy. Whitaker, though, he was a rough kid. He was from Virginia Beach. He was a real tough kid.
Tommy Morrison's birthday, January 2nd.
Tommy Morrison.
Yeah. We were friends. I knew him for a long time. He came to Houston a lot. His son is now training down at my other gym downtown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Trey Morrison. Nice kid. Really nice kid.
Cool.
Big kid, too.
Died in 2013.
Yeah.
And then a big death this week, December 30th. Sonny Liston passed away, December 30th.
December 30th.
Yeah.
What year?
1970.
So so Liston's death was very, very controversial.
Yeah, it says foul play suspected.
Well, they don't know. They think that King had something to do with it, killing him, because they said he died.
Don King?
Don King, yeah.
Really?
Well, what happened was that it was the Phantom Punch. I don't know if you remember that. The Phantom Punch in boxing. They said because Ali, but they felt that King had King had
rigged it.
Yeah, because he had part of both of them, and so he said the rumor was that King had what's his name take a dive, Sonny Liston take a dive, and Liston was a real tough guy, real street guy, but then they said he died of a drug overdose, and everybody that knew him said he was a rough guy, but he didn't do drugs, and that's what they found him on top of a roof, I believe.
They said he died of lung congestion and heart failure.
Really?
Is what they listed it as.
Yeah,
I remember the Phantom Punch, and it was a Phantom Punch. He didn't really get hit.
Yeah, you don't know though, because the thing with Ali, nobody ever saw a style like that before. He was just so quick and did stuff. So some guys didn't see the punches, but
he could have been hit earlier. I'd have to go back and watch the fight, but I remember that. I remember
it was known as the Phantom Punch. That was.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Walker Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Robinson, Walker Smith Jr.
Walker Smith Jr.
I was going to say Walker T. Smith.
And you know what? Just so you know,
What?
Richard Bennett, The Life of a Player.
That's
that's the book.
I was in the book.
Dude, let's order it. We're gonna order that.
No.
It says, what inspired him to write his memoirs? He was watching a movie on TV about someone's life story, thinking that his life was far more exciting.
His daughter's one of my best friends. He's a cool cat. He's in great shape. He's like in his almost 90. He's still golfing every day.
Yeah.
He guy's a stud.
Yeah, it says there were parties at the Playboy Mansion, beautiful women and famous celebrities.
He married a Playboy bunny.
Wow.
His second marriage was to a playmate.
Yep.
Well, y'all, we're sitting here with Lou Savarese at Savarese Fight Fit here in Houston, Texas. Obviously, Lou's
I'm buying that book, by the way.
And no mention this week. Dude, let's do it. I'm telling you.
$12.
I want to have your brother on the show, too. Rocky. Glass jaw over here.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what his brother said. He's probably say, I just nicked him. He went down.
I don't know.
Hey, that's Jeff's nickname. You know, all these boxers got nicknames. That's Louisiana Jeff right there.
Louisiana Jeff. Fuck, man. And
Jet Ski Jeff.
Shut up from now on these stories.
Jet Ski Jeff.
Jet Ski Jeff.
Canvas back.
Canvas back.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I can't say anything to Lou. We're in his gym. He's huge. You can kick my ass. He can still win.
Man. That's very barbaric.
But we are sitting here Savarese.
We can talk about it.
Savarese Fight Fit with Lou Savarese, man. Awesome. Always have you. We're going to do this every Wednesday.
Nice.
Right before the show, we were talking about you have a couple other things. You raised $1 million for one, and then $1.5 million for another. What are the other things that you're involved with?
It was really neat. It was the first one we did was with a good friend of mine, Ben Berg. He's a big restaurateur here on B&B Butchers, BB Lemons, a bunch of them. Yeah, he's a really great restaurateur, good guy too. We did a thing and it was called Black Tie Boxing, and we had raised money for the Lone Survivor Fund. It was really cool.
Awesome.
It was really neat. We did that, and then the second year, my partner here, Jordan Seff, she had come up with an idea. Her husband's a trader, a financial guy here in town, but it was really, really cool. They had brokers and traders, energy brokers and traders fight, and it was really cool. They whoever raised the most money had gotten all kinds of accolades, and then their company would match them. It was really neat. So the first year we raised $1 million for the Children's Assessment Center, and it's for it's really sobering if you ever get to see the place. It's amazing. They have 25 cops round the clock just working, catching pedophiles and people on the internet.
That's amazing.
And they said they could have a lot more people there. And then this year, or last year, we didn't have it because of the COVID, but the year before we did it for Hope Rising. It's a child trafficking. It was really cool.
And they just had a huge bust here in Houston for human trafficking. They've got 2 of them.
Yeah, it was sad to hear these people speak. The guy that was running the president of the charity, it's amazing. Houston's the worst city in the United States.
For human trafficking. Well, thank you for doing that. Yeah, man. Appreciate
it was cool.
Have you had a chance to meet Marcus Luttrell doing the long tour?
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so I met Marcus. I'm good friends with Michael Berry, and so every year Berry he didn't have it this year because of COVID, but he has a birthday party. Yeah. And they have Marcus is there.
Michael Berry on local radio here.
Yeah.
Okay, local radio here in Houston. Yeah.
Well, man, I got to tell you, this is I'm super excited for you for our second time to do this. Lou Savarese over here at Savarese Fight Fit in Houston, Texas, on Bel Air Boulevard, man. Again, man, I appreciate you doing this with us.
Do me a favor too. Come by, maybe I can give you a few tips.
Yeah.
So maybe I can defend myself next time. Yeah. Man, I was in. Let's see. I'm 43 now. That I was probably 20. That was 20 years ago. My brother was a fighter. Like I said, I wasn't a fighter. I never really fought that much. But now,
well, thank God. Jeez.
I just wouldn't. If you're gonna do that, I would just not go for the chest. The first, if you're gonna do the first,
punch. You know what? I hate to agree. I gotta agree with him.
I didn't want to hit my brother in the face. No, I didn't think he was gonna hit me back in the face.
That was like me and my brother. We would brawl, but we couldn't hit each other in the face. We got in big trouble, man. It was bad. I shot him with a BB gun. I done all kinds of
Stuff.
We'll
save that story.
Hit him with a baseball bat.
BB gun.
Yeah.
Baseball.
BB gun.
I didn't do it on purpose. I threw the bat and I ducked and I threw a bat and hit him in the eye. I'm like, oh boy, I got in big trouble for that. He was supposed to be playing in the exceptional senior basketball game and he couldn't play because of the cut in his eye.
Yeah. Well, Lou, I appreciate you again, man, and appreciate you doing this at the gym. And we will see you guys next week for, again, 1 hour with Lou. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Lou Savarese.
Yo.
We out.